It's Christmas Day in Fairmont Crest, and Anita is pulling out all the stops in an almost desperate attempt to create the perfect holiday for her loved ones. When Sharon and Tracy arrive, Anita informs them she won't be telling her family about the cancer until after Christmas. Nicole arrives and makes several barbed comments toward Sharon. The family arrives and things quickly become very merry. Vernon warns Anita that when she opens his present, she's guaranteed to cry, and sure enough, the photo he had Andre restore is a hit. Gift-giving commences, but Nicole can't stop thinking about the secret her father's keeping. She tells Danny they have to tell Anita immediately, and guess who walks in at that moment? But before they can spill the beans, the sound of singing comes from the other room. As expected, we finally learn that Sharon has been tutoring Vernon so he could surprise his wife. As everyone gathers around, he sings "Never Can Say Goodbye," the words having a special meaning under the circumstances as Anita and Vernon look into one another's eyes, as if taking and sharing strength for what's to come. Leslie and Eva enjoy breakfast at the club, during which the younger woman presents her mom with a plaque for the front door of her mansion. In return, Leslie gifts her daughter with diamond earrings. Seeing that Eva is practically glowing after reading texts from Isaiah, Leslie urges her to go bake him cookies, be his cookie, whatever you kids do. Eva meets Isaiah at Uptown, and we're told he swung by to spend a little time with his family, but sadly, we don't get to see this. The two of them then go to her place and wind up making out. Before heading to the Dupree manse, Kat drops a pizza off at her dad's hotel room, knowing he'll be in full-blown football mode. Leslie soon arrives bearing mistletoe, hoping to score with her teddy-weddy. Instead, he says they will be going into the new year as friends, and sends his ex on her way. But as she's standing in the hallway, she happens to see Chenise show up at Ted's door. Turns out, Chenise came bearing a homemade pie, which she gifts to friends this time of year. When Ted asks if this means they're friends, Chenise, wearing a killer dress, says for now. Soon they are enjoying pizza and pie, the connection between them growing. Hey babes, welcome back to Gossip Delight. It's your girl Daisy, and trust me, today's tea is scorching, steamy, and absolutely unmissable. Buckle up, because we're diving straight into the drama. On Beyond the Gates, we saw a master move by mobster Joey Armstrong. If it works, it just may be the one thing that could save Bill's life and give Hayley a new purpose. Well, folks, if there is one thing we learned from Tuesday's episode of Beyond the Gates, it's that Joey Armstrong knows exactly how to play the game. And I'm not just talking about poker. While the rest of Fairmont Crest is busy clutching their pearls over affairs and medical diagnoses, Joey was at the country club planting seeds that might just grow into the most interesting storyline of the year. His target? The always petulant, recently poisonous Hayley Hamilton. Let's look at the sheer brilliance of this move. Joey wants Bill Hamilton to run for Martin's congressional seat. Bill, naturally, is dragging his feet. So, what does Joey do? He bypasses the man entirely and goes straight for the wife with the ego the size of the Capitol Dome. Joey knows that Hayley is starving for acceptance. She's been shunned by the ladies of the Crest, treated like Danny's leftovers, and is generally about as welcome as a skunk at a garden party. By pitching the idea of political power to Hayley, Joey didn't just offer her a campaign trail, he offered her a crown. You could practically see the wheels turning behind Hayley's eyes when Joey mentioned Vanity Fair profiles and the ability to influence policy. When she corrected him with, "I prefer Queen," it was game, set, and match. Joey Armstrong, you sly fox. You've just recruited the most dangerous lobbyist in town. But here is where it gets delicious. This political ambition throws a massive wrench into Hayley's current DIY project, murdering her husband. We know Hayley has been brewing her special herbal teas and, as of Tuesday, spiking Bill's whiskey. She is actively trying to kill the man, but Joey just handed her a reason to keep him alive. If Bill dies now, Hayley is just the grieving widow of a rich guy, a role that hasn't exactly won her any popularity contests so far. But if Bill runs for Congress, Hayley becomes a potential Washington power player. She becomes a woman people have to talk to. A dead husband is a tragedy. A dead congressman is a federal investigation. If Bill enters the race, the spotlight on their lives will be blinding. Every drink, every meal, and every sudden illness will be scrutinized. If Hayley wants to be queen, she needs her king to get her to the throne first. What are the chances of this succeeding? I'd say high. Hayley's narcissism is her driving force. The allure of sticking it to her enemies from a position of political superiority is likely far more intoxicating than whatever poison she's slipping into Bill's tumbler. Joey Armstrong may have inadvertently saved Bill's life, at least until after Election Day. Of course, this is beyond the gates. Bill is trying to start sentimental Christmas traditions while his wife is weighing the pros and cons of homicide versus House seats. But if anyone can manipulate a murderer into becoming a campaign manager, it's Joey. Watch your back, Bill. But you should start writing that stump speech. It might be the only antidote you have left. Have you been looking for the perfect gift for that very special Beyond the Gates fan? Do you want to support a female entrepreneur and a small family-operated business this holiday season? Well, then we have the perfect gift for you, courtesy of the ultimate girl boss, Vanessa McBride. Well, it's actually courtesy of Lauren Buglioli, but it's hilarious, and we couldn't love it more. Vanessa's portrayer, you see, decided to get into the holiday spirit by embracing the folks in the online community who've taken to referring to Vanessa as a, well, gardening tool. If you're having trouble figuring out which one, well, we'll just refer you to the video Buglioli shared on Instagram below. Introducing the heart-attach hoe, the actress exclaimed, more than a little in character as Vanessa. Get one for your community today. She then went on to model the hoe and include some ringing endorsements about its usefulness from Nicole and Hayley. Oh, and Ted, though he seemed a bit more confused than the ladies. Poor guy. So if you're still looking for the perfect gift for your loved one this holiday season, first off, you're in trouble because it's a bit late in the game to be worrying about gifts. But if you don't mind waiting, Vanessa & Co. have the perfect ho for you. Also, we're pretty sure we found it too. Because everyone loves to use a good garden tool. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Wednesday, December 24th indicate that fans will help celebrate once couple's first Christmas. Vernon Dupree's lies will be exposed. Ted Richardson's surprise visitors. Eva Thomas and Isaiah Hawthorne hit a major milestone. Danny Dupree and Andre Richardson will celebrate their first Christmas together. Danny will try to make this the best Christmas ever for her husband. Danny knows that Christmas can be painful for some people, and she doesn't want that to be the case with Andre. Can she make his Christmas enjoyable? Andre has lost his parents, and he is missing them very badly. Danny wants her husband to know that he is loved and has the support he needs. These two have come a very long way this year. They are both all in on their marriage after starting out as friends with benefits. Can Danny give Andre what he needs? Leslie could not wait to expose Vernon's so-called affair. This whole situation seems to be quite far-fetched, but Ted went straight to Nicole Dupree with it. Ted claimed that he wanted to be honest with her or a change. However, Ted knows nothing about an affair that has not been confirmed yet. Now Vernon and Sharon's secret has been exposed during what has to be the roughest time of Anita Dupree's life. Anita has just told her husband about her cancer diagnosis, and now this comes out. Will Vernon stop this and let Anita know the real reason that he has been meeting with Sharon all of this time? Ted may have gained a daughter this year, but otherwise it has been pretty lonely. Ted has blown up his family, but he did attend Martin's and Smitty's tree trimming party with Eva, but he didn't really have any other plans for the holiday. However, it seems he will get a surprise. It seems that Ted will get 3 visitors during the holidays. Chenise Johnson is going to be one of them. After spending some quality time together over Christmas, what does this mean for their future? Will Ted and Chenise end up being more than friends by the time the holidays are over? Eva managed to get through the tree trimming party, with Kat Richard being at the tree trimming party, but now she is ready to celebrating the holidays. Eva will spend some quality time getting hot and steamy with Isaiah. Just how close will these two get? Here's what went down Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025, on Beyond the Gates. When Donnell got the real deal about his parents' marriage, Bill revealed more about his childhood, and Anita shared her devastating diagnosis with Vernon. On Beyond the Gates, Bill was amazed that Hayley served him whiskey instead of more of her herbal tea. He didn't know that Hayley had just poisoned it. Hayley pitched a fit when Bill revealed that his offer to buy the house in St. Bart's had been refused, since the sentimental owners had decided to keep it. Though Bill determined to find them another vacation property on the island, Hayley didn't want to hear any empty promises and was even less thrilled at the prospect of staying in town for Christmas. Hayley resented that she continued to be ostracized by Fairmont Crest's residents and reminded Bill that she was his family now, not the Duprees. Bill replied that Hayley knew what she'd be in for once she started pursuing her best friend's father, but Hayley exploded and yelled that it had been Bill who had pursued and sweet-talked her. When Bill said that St. Bart's would still be there, Hayley took off, telling Bill she was giving him a preview of what it would be like to miss her. At the country club, Vanessa and Joey smirked over her last-minute request for him to play Santa at a holiday party, since all of her escorts were otherwise occupied. They were surprised by the appearance of Donald, who proclaimed that Joey was taking his father's place, as Santa, that is. After Donald announced that he had just stopped by to pick up some equipment from home on the way to a ski trip, Joey decided the college student and his mother needed some alone time and bid them adieu. Vanessa was glad to hear that Donnell had bounced back from the loss of his father and finished his semester on the dean's list, but Donnell implied that his sister Deanna wasn't doing as well. After Vanessa finished a video chat with Deanna, Donald said that Deanna was still in therapy and didn't want her mother to worry that she was struggling with her grief. Vanessa was impressed that Donnell was looking after Deanna, though Donald had been using his bereavement to come to terms with the fact that his parents hadn't had the marriage they'd tried to portray, given the fact that Doug had kept secret becoming an alcoholic gambler. Once Donald said that both he and Deanna had noticed the indifference between Doug and Vanessa when they'd come home from college, Vanessa admitted that the relationship had been complicated and that she and Doug had evolved into something closer to friends than husband and wife. Though Vanessa denied it, Donald could tell that Joey was feeling her and assured his mom that he was on board with her finding someone who lit her up now that Doug was gone. A petulant Hayley arrived at the country club and complained when she couldn't get a spa appointment. Joey noticed her and sat down uninvited, wondering if Bill had told her about his suggestion that Bill run for Martin's congressional seat. Hayley scoffed that Bill already had plenty of power, but Joey described the power that Hayley would have, being able to influence policy and showing up all those in Fairmont Crest who had shunned her by having articles written about her in Vanity Fair. Joey could tell that Hayley was intrigued, but Hayley got a text from an ill Bill and got up to leave. When Joey said goodnight to Mrs. Hamilton, Hayley cracked, "I prefer Queen," which got a chuckle out of the casino owner. Hayley returned home to find out that Bill wasn't sick at all. He had merely wanted to talk to her. He brought out a drawing he had made as a child based on the lessons his deceased mother had taught him about the meaning of Christmas, starting with sharing, caring, and giving. The concept left one wish for himself, and this year, Bill's wish was for Hayley to know that his love was sincere. She didn't need to keep feeling like she was getting Danny's leftovers. Hayley didn't believe that Bill had never mentioned the drawing to Danny. Bill confided that his mother's tradition had died with her, and that there were things that happened regarding his childhood that he had never told anyone. Bill now wanted to revive his mother's tradition with Hayley, and the couple kissed. At the Dupree manse, Vernon took from Anita's stoic tone that something was wrong with one of their daughters, or Martin. Anita matter-of-factly explained that she had, in fact, been to the doctor, as Sharon and Tracy had said, where she had been given a diagnosis of breast cancer. Vernon was confused, since Anita had said everything in her routine checkups had indicated a clean bill of health. Anita clarified that such had been true until she'd undergone a mammogram, which had led to an ultrasound that had uncovered a lesion. Her biopsy had confirmed it. Vernon was upset that Anita had told Tracy and Sharon before him. Anita explained that she had needed the perspective of other women first, and, after Anita also attributed her silence to hoping the health scare would be a false alarm, Vernon apologized and felt bad that Anita had had to receive her prognosis alone. He vowed he would be there for her as she waged her battle. "Cancer picked the wrong damn family to mess with," the former senator stated, resolved. Meanwhile, Nicole burst out laughing when Ted informed her that Vernon was having an affair. The shrink spat that the next thing Ted would say was that Anita had a secret meth lab and accused her ex of making up a lie to soothe his own guilty conscience. Ted would only say that this person had seen Vernon going into Sharon's hotel room and had gotten no denial from the man when confronted. Nicole sensed that Ted was trying to protect someone and got out of him that his source was Dana. Ted agreed with Nicola's contention that Leslie was a psychopath, but noted how genuine Leslie had seemed when she'd told him what she knew about Vernon. Nicole railed that Sherry, Leslie's alias, had also seemed genuine when she'd pretended to be suicidal on the hospital roof. The divorcee was certain that Leslie was trying to ruin her Christmas by aiding her into checking with Vernon, which would only cause chaos in the family. After Nicole pronounced Vernon a better man than Ted, the surgeon merely said, "Just thought you should know," and left. At Danny's house, she and Andre had just finished having sex, which had been augmented by her signature tantric yoga move. Later, they were enjoying their time together in the living room when Nicole arrived on the door unexpectedly. Andre could see that Nicole needed to talk to her sister and went out to pick up dinner. Danny guffawed hysterically when Nicole mentioned that Vernon might be cheating. Once she calmed down, Danny insisted that their father would never throw everything away for a fling. However, when Nicole reported that something had seemed off with Anita at lunch the other day, Danny had to admit that she had gotten weird vibes from both their parents, and that Anita had practically begged Danny to take care of Vernon should something happen to her. Ted stopped into Orphe Jeans, where he encountered Chenise savoring a piece of the establishment's famed peach cobbler. Chenise deemed it therapy in a bowl, but when Ted wanted to order some for himself, she had to deliver the news that she had gotten the last piece. Ted chuckled that they were once again in a situation where they both wanted the only remaining dish. Chenise split what she had left with Ted, and found out that, with Martin and Kat planning to be at the Duprees for Christmas, and Eva with Leslie, he would be spending the holiday alone. Andre came in for his takeout and caught Chenise tenderly offering Ted a place at her family's table if he wanted to take her up on it. Andre started once Chenise was gone. "Nothing to look into," Ted finished. Ted and Andre began reminiscing about Ted's brother Stan, who religiously went to football games with Ted even though he hated the sport. Andre missed Stan, as did Ted, who thought back warmly on how they'd bonded over cheap beer and burnt nachos. Andre gifted his uncle with great seats to a game and suggested they carry on the tradition together. Ted was more than willing. Danny wanted answers and tried several times to phone Vernon, but she would only get shunted to voicemail, as Anita had pled with Vernon not to take the calls. She wasn't yet ready to tell anyone else in the family about the cancer discovery. When Anita sighed that the odds were not in her favor, as Black women had a higher mortality rate from the kind of cancer she had, Vernon dug in and said that Anita had beaten the odds her entire life, being a girl from Cabrini Green who'd had the kind of career she did. Anita countered that she had lost more awards than she'd won, and decreed that no one else was to know of her diagnosis. She wanted to see the smiling, worry-free faces of her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren all year, and for everyone to have the best damn Dupree Christmas ever, because it could be her last. Vernon vowed Anita would have her wish. Though Danny was ready to march over to her parents' home, Nicole advised her to hold back. "They'll tell us when they're ready," Nicole opined, adding that presenting them with their concerns would only end up ruining everyone's Christmas. Danny realized that doing so would also show Vernon how little they thought of him. Alone, Vernon stared at a picture of Anita and began to cry. Anita came upon him and backed away, silently sobbing herself in the foyer. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Tuesday, December 23rd, indicate that Nicole Richardson will get shocking news. Nicole will hear something she cannot believe about her ex. Anita Dupree and Vernon Dupree will be rocked by their conversation. Hayley Hamilton storms out. Vanessa McBride will confess to her son about her relationship. Nicole hears something from her ex that she can't quite comprehend. Leslie Thomas recently dropped a bombshell about Vernon that she had promised to keep her mouth shut about. Unfortunately, Vernon took a chance on her being quiet. Now, Vernon's world is about to be shaken more than he can imagine. Ted Richardson will eventually spill the beans or offer enough hint for it to be figured out. When Ted and Nicole see each other, he will reveal a secret that has her questioning if she even heard what she thought she did. Nicole simply cannot believe her ears after Ted drops this shocker. Anita and Vernon have a candid conversation that leaves them both rocked. Anita and Vernon will sit down and talk about something very important. Anita never saw this coming and is having a very hard time coming to terms with the medical diagnosis she recently received. How will Vernon feel once he hears this compared his news? Anita has breast cancer, and while she has been waiting for answer, her husband has found someone else to spend his time with. This diagnosis just had to be given right before Christmas. Anita will open up for Vernon and let him know exactly how she is feeling about this. Will Anita learn Vernon's secret as well? Hayley storms out on Bill Hamilton. Hayley wants Bill to cut ties with the Duprees and spend his time concentrating on her. Bill is no longer a part of the Dupree family, and he has no business hanging around them all of the time. When is she going to be enough? Will Bill realize just how much this is bothering her? Vanessa confesses the truth about her relationship with Joey Armstrong to Donald McBride. The truth is guaranteed to catch Donald off guard. The real question will be whether or not Donald can handle the truth once he finds out. Will Donald put the pieces together and realize what happened to his father? Brandon Claiborne might have been on another CBS soap opera. Brandon Claiborne is winning fans over with his portrayal of Martin Richardson in Beyond the Gates. But if things had turned out differently, the actor would have called this soap opera his home. Claiborne has become a household name to daytime audiences thanks to BTG. The actor was cast as Martin in October 2024 and made his first appearance on the premiere episode on February 24, 2025. In a recent interview with The Locker Room, the actor revealed that soap operas were his main goal as an actor. It was always my goal to be on a soap opera, and that started back in 2017 or 2018, so I think it's meant to be. Before joining BTG, Claiborne had a brief role as Dr. Brent Snyder on General Hospital in 2003. If you recall, he was the physical therapist who helped Curtis after he was shot and paralyzed. But before stepping foot in Port Charles and Fairmont Crest, the actor almost called Genoa City home. In 2018, he auditioned for a role on Y&R. But the opportunity didn't materialize. I was up for a series regular on Young and the Restless. During this time, Michelle Morgan, her role, I think she played Hillary, but something happened with that character. I was supposed to play her love interest. Unfortunately for Claiborne, it was during this time that Morgan opted to leave the soap opera. The show wrote a heartbreaking departure as Hillary and her baby died after sustaining injuries in a car accident. My role went up in thin air after that, Claiborne explained. Although things didn't pan out at Y&R, fate had other plans for the actor, who found his new home at BTG. Claiborne has had the opportunity to showcase his acting skills in emotionally charged storylines in 2005. Martin's most poignant storyline was his and Vernon's cover-up of a murder that came back to haunt him. In 2023, Martin and Vernon were driving home when they were attacked by two men. While protecting his grandfather, Martin killed one of the men and severely beat the other. The Duprees and their team immediately went to work to cover up the murder, but years later, their secret was uncovered. As a result, Martin's secret caused trouble in his marriage to Smitty. After a brief separation, the couple reunited and tried to move forward. Martin and Smitty managed to weather the storm in 2025. But can they handle the drama that awaits them in 26? Santa's been watching Fairmont Crest. And when it comes to naughty versus nice, some residents might be getting coal, while others truly earned their gifts. Santa has had his eyes on the residents of Fairmont Crest all year long. The Holly Jolly guy knows which. Beyond the Gates regulars are naughty and who's nice. Most of the town should be on the naughty list, but we had to narrow things down. And yes, despite Danny shooting up her ex-husband's country club wedding, we did not include her on the naughty list. There were others more worthy of naughty status. The major players in the naughty game include Leslie, whose attempts at redemption pale in comparison to all the dastardly deeds she's inflicted while in the DMV. There's attempted murder times 2, blowing up a family with her bulldozing antics. and can't forget her bullying tactics. Besides, she was rewarded plenty this year with her inheritance courtesy of Anita Dupree. Meanwhile, Miss Hayley Hamilton is someone we knew was up to no good, but for the longest time, we had no idea the depths of her deception. She was more than an opportunist. This year, it turned out she was also a professional con artist who now wants to move on up to Black Widow status. For weeks, she has been microdosing Bill's bourbon and his herbal tea with what could ultimately be a lethal concoction. Speaking of Bill, he married his daughter's bestie and then forced his ex-wife's family and his ex-wife to attend. Even though he was the one responsible for his first marriage ending, he took pleasure in insulting his ex and making her feel like the trash he took out. And then, when Danny started to move on from him, he gave her enough attention to keep her on the hook. Additionally, the family fixer, we learned how far he had gone to get Leslie out of town all those years ago. Should we cut him some slack since his wife is trying to kill Bill? As for the other Dupree-in-law, Ted's lies blew up his family's world. He held on to the secret of his affair for a long time, and he tried to pay Leslie off once she got back to town. But after their affair was outed and he found out he had a daughter, Ted didn't even try to work all that hard to get Nicole back, although he claimed he did. And while he has done right by Eva, he certainly has not by Kat. You can't include one without the other. Their rivalry this year has been vicious. Eva worked with her mother to get the best of the Dupree Richardsons. Kat was downright vicious with Eva, insulting her at every opportunity. Sure, she deserves points for her one-woman investigation to bring down Leslie. However, that doesn't mean we forget her lesser moments. Kat could hardly walk by Eva without belittling the woman, and basically said they would all be better off if Eva had never been born. That's naughty list material right there. As for Eva, her powers of manipulation are pretty legendary already. She portrayed herself as the innocent victim while pretending to empathize with her. More horribly, she slept with Tomas, Kat's boyfriend, and nobody really cared, except for Kat. How did that happen? This guy will always be on the naughty list by virtue of his day job. He regularly fleeced people and arranged for nasty things to happen to others. For example, he exploited Doug's gambling addiction. He entered an affair with Doug's wife, and then Joey ultimately disposed of Doug and took his place at Vanessa's side. Now he is trying to manipulate Bill into running against Martin for office because it benefits him. And while Joey showed flashes of vulnerability, he remained a criminal who enlisted shady detectives to do his bidding. Remember Allison? She pretended to be married so she could get close to Chelsea and engage in throuple activity. In reality, she stalked and kidnapped Chelsea. She forced her to get married, and even though she's sitting pretty in a jail cell right now, she's still probably figuring out a way to follow Chelsea's Instagram posts. Just because the following BTG characters are on the nice list doesn't mean they are perfect. Everybody is flawed and has their moments. Vernon had to dig around in the dirt a little in 225, but he was simply trying to protect Martin and the rest of his family. And when he took a tough stance, it was usually with his no-good ex-sons-in-law. The rest of his time, Vernon treated Anita like the queen that she was, and his recent scenes welcoming Andre into the family were sweet. And despite what you've heard about his secret affair with Sharon, well, that hasn't been confirmed yet. Vernon deserves his place on the nice list. In 2025, Smitty was practically a saint. He had to deal with a husband who refused to tell the truth about his recent past. He wanted to handle it and claimed to want to protect his family, shielding them from what he had done 2 years prior. Smitty was as patient for as long as he could be. Simultaneously, he took care of their children, returned to work, and had relatable conversations with his mother-in-law. After he and Martin reconciled, Smitty even defended his man to Joey, and while it took some time, he ultimately accepted June. He wasn't perfect, but he was nice. Yes, Andre had to crush Ashley's heart after she asked if there was still a chance for them, but he had already moved on, and he was married, so it wasn't his fault. But before that, he wanted to show the nurse the world, and now that he has found real love with Danny, he is all in on their marriage. She is his main focus, as it should be. He helped Vernon with his Christmas present, and he was one of the only people who accepted Ted despite the damage he had done. Andre, the photographer, the observer, and the attentive husband, is a nice guy, but he's no pushover. In 2025, Chenise's version of nice often came with a dose of tough love, but it came from a good place. She tolerated Derek using her to get over Ashley, which never actually happened. Then she turned around and became his physical therapist and cheerleader after he was paralyzed. Much like Andre, she accepted Ted while not overlooking his flaws. And she tolerated Ashley, who was at times beyond mean to her during the downfall of her relationship with Derek. Plus, she introduced Nicole to Dr. Kial Rollins, and for that, we will forever be grateful. Poor Laura. Leslie shoved her aside so her daughter could infiltrate Nicole's life. And then Leslie tried to take her out again while she was in the hospital. Through it all, Laura remained nice, understanding, composed, and compassionate, especially for Eva. She hasn't received justice for anything that has happened to her, yet she hasn't sought revenge. Laura deserves everything good in this world. Santa had better pony up for her this year. She should get all the gifts. Last, but certainly not least, there is Mona. Leslie used her in her revenge plan to blow up Nicole's life. And now that Mona knows everything that Leslie did, she won't let the woman forget it. She was incredibly hurt by Leslie's actions, and as a result, she refused to let her ex-friend back into her life. If Leslie walked into a room, it wasn't long before Mona walked out. She remained fiercely loyal to Nicole and the Dupress, and that's why she must be protected at all costs. Happy holidays, soap fans! Wondering if you'll have to go without your favorite stories over the Christmas holiday? Worried that while hanging stockings or trimming the tree, you might miss the drama of Port Charles or the epic sagas of Salem? Don't fret. Here's a look at which daytime dramas will continue airing during the holidays for viewers wondering whether Beyond the Gates, The Bold and the Beautiful, Days of Our Lives, General Hospital, and The Young and the Restless will be on. Below is a rundown of which shows are taking a brief hiatus and which are delivering brand new episodes. Despite a special Christmas episode set for December 24th, CBS will air repeats of Beyond the Gates on both December 25th and December 26th, featuring episodes that ran in early December. These episodes featured the Winterfest celebration and Greg Vaughn's debut as Kial. The long-running soap will offer a new episode on Christmas Eve, but come December 25th, it will air an encore presentation of the December 24th, 2024 episode featuring A Festive Forester's Christmas. Over in Salem, their home on Peacock doesn't have preemptions or rescheduling, so the soap will air brand new episodes on both December 24th and 25, as the Hortons gather around for another family Christmas. Also, find out what happened to those poor folks trapped by Peter Blake in the Dimera family crypt. Who will have a Merry Christmas? Christmas comes to Port Charles as the residents there celebrate the holiday with a new episode on Christmas Eve, but on December 25th, General Hospital will be preempted, and NBA basketball will air on ABC that afternoon. There will be a new episode of The Young and the Restless on Christmas Eve, December 24th, as Genoa City finds out who is on the naughty list and who is on the nice list. But on December 25th, there will be an encore presentation of the December 23, 2010 episode when Victor was trapped in his own personal version of A Christmas Carol, co-starring George Kennedy, Signe Coleman, and Rhea Medine. On today's December 24th episode of Beyond the Gates, grab your hankies. We always knew that Clifton Davis one day would sing his The Smash hit recorded by the Jackson 5, Never Can Say Goodbye, on the CBS soap opera. We just didn't know when. In fact, Davis even teased to Michael Fairman TV that something like this was coming when we caught up with the veteran actor, singer, songwriter at CBS Atlanta Fest a few months back. But now, in Story on Christmas Eve, and after just learning that his beloved wife, Anita Dupree, was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer, a very aggressive and difficult-to-treat form of the disease more likely to occur in Black women, when Vernon takes to the piano at the Dupree family Christmas gathering, the song takes on new meaning. How could Vernon ever say goodbye to his wife if she were to die? Will it be revealed that after all the gossip of Vernon having an affair with Anita's articulate singing sister Sharon, That the two were just conspiring to surprise Anita with the former senator's serenade, and Sharon was helping him pull it off? Stay tuned! As many know, Davis penned the 1971 Jackson 5 hit, and he told Billboard, "It's quite amazing to think I wrote this song way, way back, and now it's been written into the show's story plot. It's exciting to be singing and sharing this song with another generation. It's a song that just keeps on giving. I'm humbled as well because it didn't have to turn out this way. God is good." Never Can Say Goodbye was first released 54 years ago as the lead single for the group's fifth studio album, Maybe Tomorrow, Never Can Say Goodbye. The song went number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 3 consecutive weeks, and number 1 on Billboard's Hot R&D Hip-Hop Songs chart. Davis also earned a Grammy nomination for Best R&B Song. Among other artists who have covered the incredible tune are Isaac Hayes and Gloria Gaynor. Davis also wrote the hit title track for the Jackson 5's 1972 sixth studio album, Looking Through the Windows. Davis shared the inspiration for the song, which at its core is also amazingly touching. It was a combination of two things. I was 23, 24 when I wrote the song. I was wrestling with my past, back when I was moving back and forth between my mother's home and my father's home. Whenever I left either of them, I cried because I was leaving one to go to the other. That always put a strain on my heart. Then later, I was in a relationship that was difficult to maintain. I wanted to say goodbye to her, but was unable to because of the love in my heart. In addition, Clifton, who turned 80 this past October, told Billboard he has plans to release new music. "I released an album in 1990 called Say Amen, but I've been writing all along, songs about faith, prayer, and angels," the Beyond the Gates patriarch explained. "I've got music that nobody's heard, but we're going to get it out very soon." Music to our ears. Beyond the Gates, Christmas Eve episode airs on December 24th at 2 p.m. ET and 1 p.m. PT on CBS and streams on Paramount+. The moment we've all been waiting for is finally here. Soap Opera News is ready to reveal the best soap of 2025. After carefully highlighting the year's standout talent, from the best child actors, teens, and young adults, to the top female and male performers, plus the most impressive newcomers, we're now ready to crown the soap that truly ruled the year. But that's just the beginning. We're also celebrating our favorite breakout star, the most memorable recurring character, the soap moments that had us gasping or cheering, and of course, the villains who kept us on the edge of our seats. It's been a year full of drama, emotion, and unforgettable storylines, and we can't wait for you to see who made the list. Dive in below and let us know your 2025 favorites. We can't say it enough. Beyond the Gates is the show. It's like being in a relationship where something's been missing, and suddenly BTG shows up, sweeps you off your feet, and reminds you exactly what this genre is supposed to feel like. Fresh, bold, wild, alive. From the very beginning, BTG made it clear it wasn't here to play. We opened with a gun-wielding bitter ex crashing a wedding. Hello, Danny Dupree. Then came that jaw-dropping anniversary party. What should have been a sweet celebration turned explosive thanks to the always mischievous, always delicious Dana, Leslie, or Sherry. Trisha Mann Grant brings so much spark to that role. Girl, you rock. And dropping the tea about Ted being Eva's father at his own anniversary party? Iconic villain behavior. And then there is Chenise Johnson, the ever-attentive, always-listening, tea-spilling nurse who gives this genre exactly what it needs. Ernestine is a treasure. BTG delivered twist after twist in its very first year. And mind you, we haven't even hit the one-year anniversary yet. That shocking reveal that Hayley has been scheming with her cousin Randy Parker to #Kill Bill and collect the cash? Nobody saw that coming. Maurice P. Carey and Marquita Goings are absolutely tearing up that storyline. Meanwhile, Martin's nightmares surrounding a dark secret from his past gave us some of the most gripping storytelling of the season. The build-up, the reveal, the emotion. It was all handled with such care. The writing, the acting, the directing. Everything clicked. Pure perfection. And of course, we can't talk soaps without talking romance. BTG serves it all: forbidden love, messy triangles, slow burns, sudden sparks. Derek, Andre, Danny, and Ashley. Vanessa and Joey. Smitty and Martin. Vernon and Anita. The list goes on, and every dynamic feels lived in and deliciously complicated. Casting John Lindstrom as Joey Armstrong was a masterstroke. Nobody else could have stepped into that role the way he has. He was born for this kind of character. And the rest of the cast? Just look at this lineup. Brandon Claben, Lauren Buglioli, Jaden Lucas Miller, Naja Jackson, Jibre Hodges, Timon Kyle Durrett, Carla Mosley, Daphne Duplay, Tamara Tooney, Clifton Davis, Colby Muhammad, Ariel Prepetit, Ronnie Rose Mantilla, Ambir Michelle, Mike Manning, Jen Jacob, Jasmine Burke. Talk about a powerhouse ensemble. What a get. What a cast and what a show. Beyond the Gates is a win on every level. So, raise your soap glasses high and toast with us to BTG, the cast, the crew, and a genre revived. Cheers to the fam on being Soap Opera News' best soap of 2025. General Hospital delivered some really good soap in 2025. It was a year that brought loss, shock, legacy, chaos, and some good classic soap. Below are just some of the reasons why GH gets our nod as the honorary pick for Best Soap of 2025. The show gave us a poignant and fitting farewell to the iconic Monica Quartermain, following the passing of Leslie Charleson. The loss of both Monica and Charleson hit deeply for longtime viewers and the entire daytime family. So much history lives within those hospital walls, and it was felt, expressed, and portrayed with love and reverence. The tribute was heartfelt, moving, and truly befitting for two beloved women. Then we had Sidwell going toe-to-toe with Sunny, and the romance that kicked off between Carly and Brennan. This delivered that danger-filled power tug-of-war dynamic that GH does so well. Watching Carly and Brennan grow closer was a bonus that fans couldn't get enough of. And of course, there were character resurrections, which at this point are pretty much a soap staple. The brother-sister duo of Britt and Nathan's rebirths sent shockwaves of surprise, suspense, and emotional whiplash rippling through Port Charles. Even after all this time, resurrections, when done right, still work.